Imagine standing on the banks of the Mississippi River, staring at waters that carved the very heart of America. Beneath this fertile valley, countless mounds and burial sites once held secrets that shook early settlers and scientists alike. Skeletons of beings described as giants. Reports claim some measured 8, 9, even 10 feet tall, with massive skulls and jawbones that dwarfed ordinary humans. For more than a century, newspapers across the nation published accounts of these shocking discoveries. Yet today, science brushes them aside as legend or misinterpretation. Could it be that a forgotten race of colossal humans once walked this land, shaping the Mississippi Valley long before recorded history? Or are we simply chasing a story too strange for mainstream archaeology to accept? Join us as we uncover the unsettling truth about America's ancient giants. Mysteries science can't explain. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe for more hidden history. The first reports. The 1800s were a time of rapid westward expansion. Settlers crossing the Mississippi Valley stumbled upon massive earthen mounds, some stretching hundreds of feet, others shaped like animals or abstract designs. Curious farmers often dug into them, expecting treasure. What they found instead made headlines: skeletons of humans said to be far taller than normal. Newspapers like the New York Times and the St. Louis Dispatch reported skeletons between 7 and 10 feet long. Some had jawbones so large they could slip over the face of a living man. Others were buried with enormous stone tools or copper ornaments. These discoveries weren't isolated. They appeared in states across the Midwest, from Illinois to Ohio. Skeptics today dismiss such reports as exaggeration, but too many accounts surfaced across too many years to ignore. Were settlers seeing the remains of a lost race, or simply misjudging the bones they unearthed? Native legends of giants. Long before Europeans set foot in North America, native tribes already spoke of giants. The Choctaw called them Nahullo, pale-skinned giants who warred with their people. The Sioux described a race of towering warriors they battled in the ancient past. The Paiute in Nevada told of the CTCH, red-haired cannibal giants eventually burned alive in a cave. These legends span thousands of miles, yet carry the same theme: giants once lived here. For native storytellers, these weren't fantasy but history, passed carefully through generations. Elders described them as stronger, taller, and sometimes more aggressive than ordinary humans. Some were said to live in great cities, others in caves, guarding treasures and mysteries. Scholars today usually call these myths symbolic tales, but the consistency is striking. Were tribes across America independently inventing stories of giants, or were they preserving memories of real encounters with a race science has long ignored? The Mississippi Mounds. The Mississippi Valley holds thousands of mysterious mounds, from the Great Serpent in Ohio to the massive earthworks of Wisconsin. Archaeologists attribute them to mound builder cultures. But in the 19th century, when many were first excavated, shocking reports emerged. Inside, skeletons of extraordinary size were often found, some buried in stone chambers, others arranged in ceremonial patterns. A recurring detail caught attention. Many skeletons had double rows of teeth, an anomaly still debated today. Some accounts described massive jawbones holding 2 complete sets of teeth, unlike anything seen in ordinary humans. Alongside these remains, enormous stone axes and copper breastplates were discovered, seemingly sized for giants. Today, most museum records omit mention of giants, focusing only on cultural artifacts. Yet, the earliest excavations consistently tied these mounds to oversized skeletons. Were these burial mounds built to honor giant rulers, or have their true builders been erased from history? The Cahokia Mystery. Cahokia, near present-day St. Louis, was the greatest city of pre-Columbian North America. At its height around 1100 AD, it boasted enormous earthen pyramids, plazas, and neighborhoods housing tens of thousands. Yet Cahokia is shrouded in mystery: why it rose so quickly, why it collapsed, and who truly built it. Early settlers in the 1800s claimed giant skeletons were uncovered in surrounding burial mounds. Some even suggested that the ruling chiefs themselves were of unusual stature. Mainstream archaeology describes Cahokia as the work of the Mississippian culture, with no evidence of giants. But the stories refuse to die. Could Cahokia have been a city where ordinary humans and towering rulers coexisted? Or did settlers exaggerate their findings, weaving giant bones into an already mysterious past? With its pyramids rivaling Egypt in scale, Cahokia remains a place where history still hides secret science cannot fully explain. Smithsonian controversy. Perhaps the most debated piece of the giant mystery involves the Smithsonian Institution. Throughout the 1800s, Smithsonian-funded teams conducted mound excavations across the Mississippi Valley. Reports at the time described giant skeletons carefully exhumed and shipped to Washington for study. But where are they now? No museum displays exist. No bones remain available for research. Critics accuse the Smithsonian of covering up discoveries that didn't fit accepted history. Some believe entire collections were quietly destroyed or locked away. The Smithsonian denies any such cover-up, insisting reports of giants were either exaggerations or mistakes in measurement. Still, the sheer number of newspaper articles linking the Smithsonian to giant finds fuels suspicion. Could one of America's most respected institutions have buried evidence of a lost race? Or is this a case of conspiracy theories feeding off gaps in record-keeping? Either way, the Smithsonian remains central to the mystery science won't solve. Double rows of teeth. One of the strangest details repeated in old reports is the presence of double rows of teeth. From Ohio to Tennessee, skeletons unearthed from burial mounds were described with jaws containing two complete sets of teeth, upper and lower, front and back. Some had as many as 36 to 40 teeth in the jaw. Modern scientists argue this could be a rare genetic disorder, but such conditions are incredibly uncommon today. So how did so many reports emerge across so many states? Were these simply exaggerations by 19th century newspapers eager to sell stories? Or do they point to a real, distinct race of humans unlike any we know? If true, double rows of teeth might suggest giants weren't just tall individuals but a genetically unique population. This bizarre detail, often dismissed, continues to fuel theories that America's mound builders were far more mysterious than mainstream archaeology admits. Weapons and artifacts. Alongside the skeletal remains, unusual artifacts have been documented. Farmers and explorers reported uncovering massive stone axes, swords, and copper breastplates far too large for ordinary use. In Michigan, vast ancient copper mines dating back thousands of years show evidence of advanced extraction techniques. Millions of pounds of copper were removed, but historians cannot fully explain who mined it or where all that copper went. Some theorists suggest giants were responsible, creating tools and weapons suited to their size. Others propose the copper was traded across the Atlantic to Old World civilizations long before Columbus. Mainstream scholars reject such claims, attributing the work to native cultures. But the sheer scale of mining and the oversized artifacts remain troubling questions. Were these tools symbolic, ceremonial, or actually used by a physically larger race? Science still cannot provide definitive answers. Ancient battles. Native legends often describe violent clashes between their ancestors and giants. The Paiute tell of trapping the red-haired Cetus H in a Nevada cave, burning them alive after years of war. In Ohio, mound excavations revealed skeletons arranged as if fallen in battle, alongside massive weapons that dwarfed human hands. Oral traditions from the Great Lakes to the Mississippi recount warriors facing towering opponents with incredible strength. Were these stories allegories of tribal conflicts, or records of actual battles fought against a giant race? Some archaeologists argue the burial arrangements simply reflect ceremonial rituals, not combat. Yet when combined with consistent native accounts, the possibility of real ancient wars emerges. Could giants have once ruled parts of the Mississippi Valley, only to be driven out by rising native cultures? If so, these conflicts shaped America long before European colonization, leaving behind a mystery still unsolved. Vanishing evidence. If giant skeletons were truly unearthed, why don't we see them today? This is perhaps the greatest puzzle. Some argue the bones crumbled quickly when exposed, as fragile remains often do. Others say locals reburied or discarded them without realizing their importance. The most controversial claim is that museums, including the Smithsonian, deliberately destroyed evidence that threatened accepted history. Dozens of 19th century newspaper articles describe giant bones being crated and shipped away, never to be seen again. Skeptics counter that sensational journalism was common in the 1800s, making giants a popular fabrication. Still, the sheer number of consistent reports across states is difficult to dismiss. Without physical evidence, the case remains frustratingly open. Did the proof of giants vanish through carelessness, or was it intentionally erased? Until bones are found and verified today, we're left with written records and a growing sense that history may have been edited. Modern theories. Today, the mystery of Mississippi Valley giants fuels a wide range of theories. Some researchers link them to the Nephilim, giant offspring described in the Bible, suggesting America once hosted descendants of these beings. Others believe they were simply tall humans, the result of rare genetic traits amplified within small communities. A few propose connections to lost civilizations like Atlantis or even extraterrestrial visitors. Mainstream scholars dismiss these theories, insisting reports were either fabricated or misinterpreted skeletons of ordinary Native Americans. But the persistence of legends, combined with lost artifacts and missing bones, keeps curiosity alive. Were the giants a real but misunderstood population? Were they a myth born from exaggeration? Or were they deliberately erased from history because they challenged what we think we know? Science remains silent, but the mystery only grows louder with each uncovered story. So what do we make of it all? Were there truly giants walking the Mississippi Valley, towering rulers buried in mounds that once dotted America's heartland? Or are these legends and old reports nothing more than mismeasurements and myths passed down through generations? The truth may never be fully known. The bones are missing, the artifacts scattered, and official records incomplete. Yet the consistency of native legends, 19th century accounts, and strange archaeological finds refuses to fade away. Science may claim it has all the answers, but here lies a story it cannot neatly explain. And that's what makes this mystery so captivating. Do you believe America's giants were real? Share your thoughts in the comments, we'd love to hear them. And if you enjoy exploring mysteries science can't explain, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join us for more untold histories waiting to be revealed.